Good evening, John.
Brett, good evening to you. Let's start first of all with Dr. Ronny Jackson. To hear the White House tell it Democrats were out to destroy the career of a good man. The Democrats say the president should have known better than to send them a nominee that would never be confirmed. The upshot of all this, Dr. Ronny Jackson has withdrawn his name from consideration, and the president is now looking for a new nominee to be VA secretary.
Let's go. We'll go to the Oval Office.
Signing autographs for children on Take Your Kids to Work Day, President Trump today unloaded on critics who forced Veterans Affairs nominee Dr. Ronny Jackson to withdraw.
He's a great man, and he got treated very, very unfairly. He got treated really unfairly.
In a statement, Dr. Jackson denied the laundry list of allegations Democrats had amassed against him, saying, "I expected tough questions about how to best care for our veterans, but I did not expect to have to dignify baseless and anonymous attacks on my character and integrity." The Senate Minority Leader said if anyone is to blame for the maelstrom around Dr. Jackson, it's President Trump.
The president is what caused this problem by not properly vetting, by making these decisions on the fly, by making sure they don't count.
As the Jackson withdrawal was still settling, the president's embattled EPA administrator was in the hot seat in Congress, bombarded with questions about political favors and excessive spending on travel, security, and a secure phone booth.
You are unfit to hold public office and undeserving of the public trust.
Pruitt insisted the charges against him are way overblown.
Half-truths, or at best, stories that have been so twisted they do not resemble reality.
Perhaps one of the most controversial issues facing Pruitt, huge raises that were given to 2 EPA staffers against the direction of the White House. In a Fox News interview, Pruitt denied any knowledge of the raises or who approved them.
So who did it?
It may be there would be some accountability.
A career person or a political person?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know? You run the agency. You don't know who did it?
But Pruitt admitted today he gave his chief of staff the authority to grant pay increases and knew the 2 staffers wanted raises. However, Pruitt says he didn't know the details.
One of the aides who received a substantial raise stated that you were aware of and supported the raises. Was that true?
I think with respect to the raises, what's important,
yet was that true?
Was not aware of the amount, nor was I aware that of the bypassing or the PPO process not being respected.
In a morning phone interview with Fox and Friends, President Trump today put the Department of Justice on notice. Start investigating charges leveled at his opponents, he said, or he might just step in.
I have decided that I won't be involved. I may change my mind at some point because what's going on is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
And after denying any knowledge of the Stormy Daniels payoff, for the first time today, President Trump appeared to acknowledge Michael Cohen was working on his behalf.
He represents me, like with this crazy Stormy Daniels deal. He represented me, and, from what I see, he did absolutely nothing wrong.
And a new development today in the case of Rob Porter, the former staff secretary here at the White House who was fired back in February. In a letter to Chairman Trey Gowdy, the FBI says that it first sent over derogatory information about Rob Porter on March 3rd of 2017. That derogatory information file was addressed to Don McGahn, the White House counsel's office. But the White House continues to insist it did not learn about the allegations that Porter abused his 2 ex-wives until February 6th of this year. That's nearly a year later. White House officials tell Fox News that McGahn never saw that file, but no one can explain why. Brett?
John, it was clearly a bumpy ride for Scott Pruitt up on Capitol Hill. Is there a sense behind the scenes there that his future has changed in the eyes of the White House?
I don't know if this changes things to any greater degree than they were already at, Brett. I mean, it's no secret around here at the White House that the only person in this building who supports Scott Pruitt is the president. But then again, he's the only person who needs to.
Right. And last thing on Ronny Jackson, he goes back to his former job. Is he going to stay there?
You know, that's a question. He's currently working in the White House medical unit, but when he was tabbed for the nomination for VA secretary, he ceased being the president's personal physician. And now they're wrestling with this idea of could he go back to that position with this cloud of allegations hanging over him. But then again, if he says that none of it was true and it wasn't true, why should that prevent him from going back? But at this point, nobody has launched an investigation to try to clear all of this up. So his future right now, Brett, remains very much in limbo.
John Roberts, live on the North Lawn. John, thank you.